Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Before I start my editorial, I have a request, and my request is please share our content. Please share this editorial. YouTube, for some reason, does not distribute our content the way it should. So therefore, you don't get notifications, you don't get intimations about our program. Therefore, our viewership has come down. You are our only support. Share our content, please. Now, let's get into our editorial, and this editorial again is for you because a lot of you wrote to me asking me for my views on Prashant Kishor joining Congress. I have written a lot about Prashant Kishor, I have spoken a lot about Prashant Kishor, I have spoken a lot about Prashant Kishor and Congress before. So yeah, it's a subject that I have been continuously following. So let's talk about Prashant Kishor and Congress. Let's get right into the show. I always said that a consultant should never be a sore loser. I always said that because if you don't get a business, you say, hey, kharab hai, grand old party, hai, bad, not going to happen, nothing is going to happen. All that shouldn't be done by a consultant because you tend to get a business, you tend to get a client, you tend to not get a client at times. But normally as a consultant, and me, I was an advertising consultant for almost most of my living life. So one learns in our consultancy life that you should not talk ill about a client who doesn't give you business. That's not actually professional. So that being said, I used to say, I spoke about that before. And now finally, Prashant Kishor's perseverance and Congress's need has brought them together. What I mean by that? I mean that Congress now is desperate for a win. They're desperate for a win. They need a win. If they don't win this Gujarat election, this coming Gujarat election, which is supposed to be happening in end of this year, that is December, if Congress doesn't win this election, Congress will nosedive. 2024 may not see the kind of Congress that we used to seeing, the national party that competes with Bharatiya Janata Party. That may not happen with Congress because the workers will lose interest of Congress. Congress leaders are very opportunist. Most of them are opportunists. They are so used to being in power, they may jump parties, they may jump loyalties. I mean, Gadkari spoke about Congress leaders, asking them to stick to their party because, winning and losing is a part of it. So Congress leaders may not be with Congress, Congress workers may not be with Congress. So it is important for Congress to register a win. And that is the desperation that Congress is going through. Prashant Kishor is also in a way desperate. In a way desperate because he has worked with almost every brand, every political brand in the country. And somewhere down the line, there are very few brands that he has worked twice. Because he has only managed to work once. And let's talk about his track record and all. We'll come to that. But Prashant Kishor needs to stick somewhere. He now needs to belong to somebody. He tried his hand with JDU, didn't work. Okay, for some time he had his partnership with Trinamool Congress, didn't work. So somewhere down the line, he needs to belong somewhere. And possibly the best possible thing for him is to belong to a national party. So, in Trinamool, he tried to convert Trinamool into a national party, which I think most of us constantly kept on saying it is not going to happen and it is not going to happen so fast. So now, Prashant Kishor wants to belong to a national party. So, and Congress possibly is the best option for him. Why is Congress the best option for him? Because Congress currently is, damadole. Everything is going wrong with Congress. Congress doesn't have clear leadership. Troubled waters is a good place for a consultant to be in. Because troubled waters is where you need a consultant. So here he is a consultant. Congress is in troubled waters. Combination perfect. So for him, best time, best place. So now both their needs are very similar and both are coming together. Now whether that will fetch results or not, we will see in the future. Okay. Now like I said, let's talk about Prashant Kishor's track record. Prashant Kishor worked with Bharatiya Janata Party in 2014. Now, whether Prashant Kishor was instrumental for Bharatiya Janata Party to get 282 seats in 2014, or was it Modi wave, or was it the Anna Hazare movement, God knows. But the fact remains that, giving credit to Prashant Kishor, 2009 was 116 seats. 2014, when Prashant Kishor worked with them, 282 seats. 2019, when Prashant Kishor didn't work with them, they got 303 seats. So this was Prashant Kishor and Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's talk Prashant Kishor and Janata Dal United. 2010, Janata Dal United got 115 seats. 2015, Prashant Kishor helped them. They got 71 seats, lesser than 2010. Mind you, 2015, JDU also had a tie-up with RJD. So there was a seat arrangement too, but all the same, they came down from 115 to 71 seats in 2015. Let's talk about Congress. Prashant Kishor helped the Congress in 2017. 2012, without Prashant Kishor, Congress had managed to get 46 seats in Punjab. 2017, Congress managed to get 70 seats in Punjab. So there Prashant Kishor magic worked there. That's how it looks like. And the fact is, I think we should give him the credit for that, is because Amrinder Singh wanted Prashant Kishor back in 2022 elections. Well, the rest, whatever happened, we all know. Okay. Now let's talk about Congress Uttar Pradesh Assembly Elections. 2017 is where Prashant Kishor helped them. 2012, Congress had 28 seats in Uttar Pradesh. 2017, Congress got 7 seats. So with Prashant Kishor's help, from 28 seats, they came down to 7 seats. Let's talk about YSR. Again, a success story for Prashant Kishor. 2014, YSR got 70 seats, and 2019, with Prashant Kishor's help, YSR got 151 seats. So that was a success story for Prashant Kishor. Now let's come to Shiva Sena. Maharashtra Assembly Elections. In 2014, they had got 63 seats without Prashant Kishor's help. In 2019, they fell to 56, 63 to 56. So Shiva Sena may not be very happy with Prashant Kishor. Delhi Assembly Elections. Without Prashant Kishor, 2015, they got 67 seats. With Prashant Kishor, 2020, they got 62 seats. Now let's talk about DMK. In 2016, DMK got 98 seats. 2021, they got 159 seats. So Prashant Kishor really helped DMK. Let's talk about West Bengal. That was the recent one. West Bengal, 2016, without Prashant Kishor, Mamata Banerjee got 211 seats. With Prashant Kishor, she got 215. So that was a growth that Prashant Kishor gave TMC in West Bengal. Somewhere down the line, Prashant Kishor was very keen on joining JDU. So Prashant Kishor, they say, was very keen on joining TMC. And now Prashant Kishor, through and through, was very keen on joining Congress. Somewhere down the line, what is told to us is he has joined Congress. He's part of Congress. He's not going to charge money for helping in Gujarat elections. So he will be running Gujarat elections for Congress. And we will wait and watch what he delivers to Congress. One thing is for sure. This would possibly be the toughest test for Prashant Kishor. This is the litmus test for Prashant Kishor. If he can manage to swing Congress, if he can ensure that Congress wins Gujarat, Prashant Kishor would be undoubtedly the brain, the Chanakya of Indian politics. He would be regarded as one of the best strategists India has ever seen as far as politics is concerned. That is, if he wins. Because Prashant Kishor has always been working with a horse that has been leading the match. He has never worked with a trailing horse. This is the first time he's going to work with a trailing brand, and that's Congress in Gujarat. And if he manages to swing it, man, the professional, this consultant, Prashant Kishor, will be seen as one of the best in the country. Now, this is as far as Prashant Kishor is concerned. Now, a few point of views. You see, one of the things that Prashant Kishor has brought into politics, Indian politics, is number crunching. A strategist does use numbers to create his strategy. But a strategist does not use only numbers to create a strategy. For a lot of us who have been doing marketing strategies, numbers and insights. In marketing, we call it consumer insight. In politics, you call it voter insight or whatever. Insight, human insight is very important. So numbers along with human insights would make a more powerful strategy. That's the strategy that is normally used to get a trailing brand to come and be the market leader. That's the core strategy that we use. So one of the things that I think Prashant Kishor should focus on, of course, this is unsolicited advice, but all the same, should be combining consumer insight, combining voter insight with his number crunching. Caste, creed, numbers, so and so caste, voting so and so, numbers, so and so. All that is good, but if it is with consumer insight, it will have a much better impact. That's number one. Number two is, somewhere down the line, consumer insight also gives you a concept of proposition. All these elections, Prashant Kishor never created a proposition for a brand. Whenever there has been a miraculous win, that miraculous win has been thanks to a proposition. Jayaprakash Narayan won. Jayaprakash Narayan could put up a fight against the then juggernaut Indira Gandhi by the proposition of Indira Hatao, Desh Bachao. The proposition, brought about the proposition. VP Singh could pull down Rajiv Gandhi with Bofors. That was a proposition at that point in time. Congress could come to power with a proposition. Congress ka haath Aam Aadmi ke saath. Bharatiya Janata Party, Narendra Modi came with a proposition of Achhe Din. When good proposition was created, the party which was trailing, which was not doing well, came and became the market leader. Normally, every time you see that happening, when a trailing brand comes and becomes a market leader, the reason for that is proposition, good proposition that a brand has. And good proposition does not come from number crunching. Good proposition comes from consumer insight, voter insights. That's how you get good proposition. Now, another very important point I wanted to raise is we need to identify our problem. Problem is in the east, solution you are searching for in the west. That may not really work. And I'm not talking about Prashant Kishor. I'm talking about generally how the people view Congress. Now, the entire narrative, and I say this at the cost of a lot of people writing to me saying that I support the Gandhis, I support that. I mean, that is one thing that people can say. But then the point is, I will be honest with you. As far as I am concerned, after Narendra Modi, the second person who can get a crowd from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in this country is Rahul Gandhi. Let's face facts. That is Rahul Gandhi. Now, you call him a president, prime minister, whatever you call him. You can be whatever he wants of Congress party. That's their problem. But the fact is, as a crowd puller, like Narendra Modi is to Bharatiya Janata Party, Rahul Gandhi is to Congress. Let's face facts. Now, in advertising, we've got something called as brand ambassadors. You know what brand ambassadors does? For instance, let's talk about a brand called Idea. I'm sure you remember this concept of this proposition of what an idea strategy. Abhishek Bachchan was the face of the brand. Abhishek Bachchan used to be the brand ambassador. Abhishek Bachchan is the person who would go on screen and he would actually get your attention on the screen. Abhishek Bachchan is like getting people to come and see. That was his job. Now, once you see it, you're only going to buy Idea when you go to the retail shop and when you feel that service given to you, when that salesman can sell you the product. That's when you buy an Idea. Now, you cannot blame Abhishek Bachchan for people not buying Idea. You can blame Abhishek Bachchan for people not turning out in the retail shop. But you can't blame Abhishek Bachchan for people not buying Idea. The reason being that Abhishek Bachchan's job is to pull people towards Idea, and it is the Idea salesperson's job to ensure that it is sold. A party also works that way. Rahul Gandhi's idea is to ensure people are bought. Priyanka Gandhi got people in Uttar Pradesh. Phenomenal amount of people in Uttar Pradesh. But they didn't have people on ground. They didn't have leaders on ground, either in Uttar Pradesh or in Kerala or in Maharashtra, to actually ensure that that popularity, that crowd that has come gets translated into votes. They didn't have the local leadership, and that's the problem. Now, I am not getting into this president of Congress, leader of Congress issue. I am talking purely from a marketing perspective, Baba. And this is what I feel. He is doing the brand ambassador's job, but there is nobody doing the salesman job. I believe that Congress does not need another Modi. Congress needs an Amit Shah. I believe that. Congress is looking out for a Modi where Congress actually needs an Amit Shah. Congress needs a person who can actually go out there, strategize, push, pull, take what it does, do what it takes to ensure that Congress wins the election. And that's Amit Shah. The entire Congress is trying to look out for a Modi. Changing Rahul Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi is doing what Modi is possibly doing for Bharatiya Janata Party. Modi does it far better. Rahul Gandhi is not doing that good. But then he is the only choice. You don't have another choice. You get an Amit Shah, and maybe what Rahul Gandhi is currently doing will be good enough for you to actually deliver goods. Maybe that's the way it is. So that's the point I wanted to make. Overall, Prashant Kishor, Congress coming together, good for Prashant Kishor, good for Congress. Prashant Kishor has a point to prove. If he can prove it, this seals his greatness as a consultant. If he doesn't, well, then you know what? He's like any other consultant, some win, some lose. Congress has nothing to lose. I mean, if Prashant Kishor clicks for them, great. If Prashant Kishor doesn't click for them, anyway, what they have to lose? So, I think it's okay. This is a good combination. This is a good try. This is a good permutation combination mix. But now I want to ask Prashant Kishor, does he still believe that there can be an opposition without Congress in India in 2024? Does he still believe that? Does he still believe that Congress is a grand old party and, unless and until there are major changes and all that, nothing can happen and all? Does he still believe that? Or does he believe that maybe a couple of wins for Congress in the next 2 years can make a huge difference to the party? Till I see you next time, please do share this content and namaskar.